Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in Raw.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little notify bell next to it so you know whenever there's new Going In Raw content. And if you're on the iOS podcast app, be sure to hit, I think it's either subscribe or download. I forget which one it is. And that not only makes sure that you always have our podcast downloaded to your phone automatically, it also helps boost our profile, which is awesome for everybody, Larson.
Yes, we're also on Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson.
Yeah, man. 40 people got to listen to us rant about music before we hit that old record button.
Converse. It was a conversation.
Yeah, rant, converse, everything that comes out of my mouth is basically a rant, Larson.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah. That's at the $5 tier. And starting tomorrow, the very first episode of the Patreon exclusive Going In Raw non-news.
Yeah.
And it's all the stuff that has come out in the news, in the wrestling news community.
That wasn't really news.
That really wasn't news. Kevin Owens injured at Money in the Bank.
No.
Not really. He's fine. He's good. A little bit of a limp, but he's okay. That's
Non-news.
That's just a sneak peek of what you're going to get with non-news.
I feel like we already spoiled part of the show.
I've got like 5 non-news stories, Larson.
Okay.
5 amazing,
So
and you guys.
it's going to be 5 stories, quick takes on each story.
Hot takes, man.
Hot takes?
Hot
Okay.
takes.
Okay.
Is that what I've heard that term? I don't know what it means.
Well, if you have an opinion on something, that's your take on the subject
hot.
matter. And if it's hot, then I guess that means it's
Are all of our
something.
takes hot?
No, they're not all hot.
Okay. Anyways, non-news is going to be great for the $5 and up Patreon mark. Best value tier right there. You get live streams, non-news.
You get a lot for $5 a month.
You're going to love our nuts. Anyways, we've also got what? I don't know. You started that the other day when you busted out your nut sack.
Yeah.
It was literally a sack of nuts that he started chewing on, and he said, "You're gonna love my nuts."
Yeah.
So now it's stuck in my head. dude.
Okay.
And I just had some yogurt covered nuts.
Yeah,
over
they're
there.
right there. The bag's staring at me.
Oh, nice. Anyways, and then we're also on Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com/Going In Raw. This is Progress Wrestling. That's a new day, man. That's WWE for life. Anyways, let's talk about, we're here to talk about 205. Oh, by the way, also right now at our channel, or rather at 3 p.m. today, Pacific time, we're going to be doing the first Gaming in Raw live stream.
Yes.
We're now at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, of course, at youtube.com/Steven Larson. We're going to try to do a double stream. We've heard that you're not supposed to do that or you can't do that, but I think that only applies to Twitch partners. Are you looking at that anymore?
As I did, and I found, I think, the same information as you.
Okay, yeah. Look, we're going to do it.
If we get in trouble, then we won't do it again.
Exactly. Hopefully they'll give us a slap on the wrist. We're not making any money off Twitch. What's their problem with that?
Well, that's the thing. Partners who are making money off Twitch, that's probably why they can't do it.
Well, you know what? When we become partner with Twitch and we're making that big Twitch money.
Then we have a difficult decision to make.
I know. How do you choose? How do people generally choose what to do, Twitch or YouTube? I don't get it.
I would guess if you were established on Twitch, you'd stay with Twitch.
Yeah.
But if it seems like it's more beneficial, stay on YouTube, stay on YouTube.
I have no idea how to choose.
But then you wouldn't know, but until you get the schedule, because you're a Twitch partner, and then you're starting from, the ground level.
Yeah.
On YouTube, there's Super Chat. We've seen the benefits of that already.
Yeah, cha-cha-cha-ching.
So it's kind of, right now, I'd be hard-pressed to find the reason why to go to Twitch full-time. But anyways, we'll work on it.
We'll figure it out.
If anybody has any insight, please share
it's
it
going to
with
be, regardless, technologically speaking, it's going to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah, probably.
Because we don't really know what we're doing.
What are we playing? No Mercy?
Yeah, man.
We're
Mercy.
Are we doing career mode with my creation idea?
Oh, yeah.
But don't,
yeah.
We have the name.
No, I'm not going to say it. We got the name.
Got the name.
For No Mercy.
It's a good name.
All right, let's talk about 205 Live first.
Yes.
We had this kicked off with...
Well, overall,
you
another
know what?
fun show.
What happened in this show? I'm running this down here real quick. I'm just looking at it. What was the main event? Rich Swan versus Neville.
It was a really good match.
Hell of a main event.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic main event. Oh, good show.
Yeah.
Good show.
That's what I just said.
So yeah, no, it was fun. Hey, the ratings are kind of climbing. So for the Neville TJ Perkins match 2 weeks ago, it got up to number 10 in the WWE Network. Right now, it had been like number 18, 19, 20 before. Mm-hmm. Evidently, that feud elevated it to the number 10 spot. Last week's fell to number 2. What happened last week?
That was
Tozawa TJP?
Yeah, another good match.
Another really good match. It fell to the number 12 spot. But maybe some of this Titus brand crossover stuff, maybe it's helping it out. Maybe people are getting their fix. Maybe they're liking it. I don't know. I want good things for it. They need to be in front of a better crowd, but the crowd was actually pretty decent this week. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So it kicked off with Akira Tozawa and Rich Swan backstage, and Titus O'Neil. They're having some. It was funny because Rich Swan was he like in the middle of telling a story or something?
Yeah.
And then Akira Tozawa like belts out with this massive laugh. And then Titus O'Neil shows up, and all the laughter stops. These kind of segments. So Titus is great. We know Titus is a hell of a talker, and I think that being the sort of manager / wrestler role, I think is fantastic. I think transitioning him to even more of a manager with his Titus brand, I think is good. My main problem with this, though, is that they didn't let Akira talk. One, I'm not a huge fan of the non-response talking segment. When Titus O'Neil is talking to him, he says, "Hey, all you got to do is sign on the dotted line," and Akira Tozawa just goes like this.
I will say,
I want a little bit of back and forth.
No, I understand that, but I will say Tozawa does a good job of communicating with expressions, his facial expressions.
He does, but that can only go so far.
I understand.
We need him to actually say something.
I understand.
Because the funny thing is, like, he's got a lot of charisma.
Oh yeah,
like when he talks, like it's entertaining.
Yes. Oh, I know.
And so I would love for him. I want to know what he's thinking. I know we're supposed to understand that he's apprehensive about the whole thing, but to what level is he actually kind of on board with this? Is he completely not on board with it? Like, I still don't know, and I want to know.
Yeah. Well, we got an idea because Titus said, "I have a contract here ready for you to sign."
Yeah.
And that's when Akira Tozawa said no.
He didn't.
Shook his head no.
Say
Sorry.
anything, and he
shook his head no.
It was barely even a shake of the head. That was like, just, I don't know. I want more. I
understand that.
Anyways, Titus says, "I'm going to sweeten the deal for you, 5%. I'll give you an additional 5% off of your merchandise or something like that." And he still apparently wasn't good enough for him. He says, "Well, think it over, and then on Raw, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse, and you'll be going cha-ching," which I thought was funny. I love Titus, but those segments, I've seen those segments before. They're awkward. When you don't have two people going back and forth and reacting like actual people would, it just gets kind of awkward. Anyways, your OCD is killing me. You're on the emails, like deleting Twitch notifications.
Well, I don't like having emails that
have you ever seen my emails?
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. You have
really?
Like tens of thousands. Yeah, that'd drive me nuts.
34,000.
That would drive me absolutely insane.
Yeah. Anyways, let's see here.
Next, we had Jack Gallagher take on Tony Nese. Of course, they had a bit of a altercation the previous week.
Jack Gallagher was trying to stand up for, I guess, Austin Aries when he came out last week and said, "Tony Nese, you are no Austin Aries," and he broke his umbrella over Tony Nese, so that led to this match. It was a good match. Like, Jack Gallagher, I feel like, I kind of feel like this is across the board, and I kind of feel like this was kind of interesting. Shawn Michaels, I think, was on Edge and Christian's podcast this past week, and he mentioned how he didn't even start doing the Sweet Chin Music stomp, if I understood him correctly. Tuning up the band.
Until the match with Vader, yeah.
Until he was a main eventer.
Yeah.
And he said, even in the main event, back then, me and others were still trying to create new things, add new things to our repertoire.
Yeah.
And he says, I feel like, and he's very diplomatic about it because he's not trying to run anybody down, but he says, I feel like too many people get set in their moves and they kind of become repetitious.
Mm-hmm.
I pointed out a guy like Cesaro in the past who I feel
He
does try to add
every
things.
now and again. He'll try something different. He'll do new things. Yeah,
But it's every now and again, but it's more than I've noticed from others.
Yeah.
From a lot of others. So there are wrestlers, every time AJ Styles wrestles, I honestly feel like I see a brand new match.
but also I think to a certain extent, I wonder if
He's a very dynamic wrestler, though.
if WWE, because we know that a lot of wrestlers when they wrestle out in the Indies or even in NXT, it seems like their moveset is more variety to it.
Yeah, sure.
But I think in WWE, especially on the main roster, they say they want people to have very specific moves because then fans are familiar with it.
Yeah.
And I think I wonder if in their mind it makes the matches a little simpler in terms of how they can be understood.
I have no doubt that what you're saying is absolutely right. I'm not saying that this is necessarily on the wrestlers.
No. I know.
And I'm sure that you're probably right because they see, oh, look what this kid does. We want him to do this.
Because we both know like Shinsuke could do all sorts of different stuff.
Yeah.
But in WWE, he's predominantly a striker. I understand that was the case in New Japan as well, but he would grapple a lot more. He has a wealth of MMA experience.
Yeah.
We saw more of that there.
Yeah.
We've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But not a lot.
With the cruiserweights especially, though, one of the things that we've said endlessly on the show is like, there's two things. There's the crowd, which is not an ideal situation, but there's also let them do what they can do.
Yes.
And that's absolutely still the deal is that I believe that every single one of these wrestlers are very creative and can bring a lot of new things to the table if they were allowed to.
Well, we saw Rich Swan do something new this week.
What was that?
He did like a fisherman's Michinoku driver.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
I've seen that before.
Boy, that was like some of the storytelling, especially on Rich Swan's part, was fantastic.
Yeah, even when he was, especially when he was in the Rings of Saturn.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was really good. With Jack Gallagher, I felt like with this match, this was the first time I was like, God, I just feel like I've seen all this so far. Like they can put on a good match, but I just feel like I and maybe it was because I had just read. No, I watched this before I read that. But when I read the thing that Michaels had said in the podcast, 'cause I didn't listen to it, I read the transcript, some of the transcript. I thought of this. I kind of thought of this match. I was like, yeah, man, Jack Gallagher, he does the thing where he stands up on his head, and that's cute and everything. But it's like the same kind of thing.
Here's the thing.
A little over and over.
I don't know why no one's ever done it. When Jack does that spot in the corner, as you mentioned, where he does kind of the handstand. How come no one ever runs and then slides under him while he tries to kick?
Oh, that'd be great.
And take advantage of the situation.
I know, that'd be great.
I've been waiting for someone to do that.
Yeah, I know, but isn't that kind of like, when a pitcher gets found out, then they have to like change up what they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then people should have to change.
But then you'll never see that thing again. No, I agree with you. People should be able to figure out each other, and then they have to change it up.
Because they do sometimes.
But then we'll never see the handstand thing.
No, there's got to be a counter to that.
You think that he can counter that?
He can fake with the boot, and then as they slide, drop down on him.
Drop
Something
down
like that,
on him
something
or
like that.
springboard up.
Something.
Yeah, something like that. No, I like it. But
It's got the strategy against one's opponents has to be constantly evolving, I would think.
You would think that's kind of my point too. Is that kind
But
of
like
we get the
it's
same
like whenever he
stuff.
does the handstand spot on the top turnbuckle, I just feel like no one he's facing has ever seen one of his matches before.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly.
Or go to the opposite corner and just wait.
Yeah.
He can't be up there all day.
Right. Yeah. So anyways, Tony Nese. Oh yeah. So Austin Aries was watching the match backstage. Tony Nese faked an injury and then got the win with the running knee.
Yeah.
Heel tactics.
Yes.
That would come into play later with Jack Gallagher and Austin Aries.
Do you like Tony Nese's vest anymore now this week?
I don't think I disliked it as much as you did from the get.
It's awful.
It's weird though, man. You like that vest, but you don't like what's that kid on SmackDown that's never on TV?
Oh, Ty?
Ty?
I like it because you don't like it.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe that's why I should like Tony
okay.
Nese's ab vest. I love it. I think it's great. No, it's pretty ugly.
It's awful.
Then Noam Dar. Okay, so here's my problem with this segment.
All right.
Noam Dar. I actually really like this segment, but it's cartoonishly stupid. Because Noam Dar, which is supposed to be, Noam Dar's FaceTime once again with Alicia Fox, which is like my new favorite gimmick. I cannot get enough of Alicia Fox. She cracks me up on FaceTime, dude. She really does. Anyways, he's saying something along the lines of, we need to move on from Cedric Alexander.
Yeah.
We got to get past this.
Yeah.
So who shows up at that point? If I'm Cedric Alexander and I'm what I imagine he's supposed to be around the corner in kayfabe, and I'm hearing this, I'm like, thank God and I would sneak away. I don't want, but no, he shows up. Oh yeah, move on from me. That's a good idea. I've been telling you guys to do that for a while now. And of course, that opens up the Pandora's box. That opens up a can of worms right there.
Yeah.
Because now they're not going to get over it.
No, in fact,
he just made things worse.
Noam Dar thought that he threw Cedric Alexander's luggage in the river.
Yeah.
And then Cedric says, "Oh, you did?"
Yeah.
And then he
picks it up.
Yep, picks up his own bag.
And then Noam Dar, who's like, "Oh crap," and he says, "I thought you said to Alicia, he said, I thought you said it was a gold bag." And then of course, who would have a gold bag? Davari comes in. He's like frantically searching for his bag. There's only 2 made in the world. His dad got it for him, and
$15,000.
$15,000, and Noam Dar sort of says no and slinks away.
Yep.
I thought it was a very cute segment. Cedric Alexander cracks me up though, because if they're like, yeah, no, we're moving on past this guy, shows up, hey, why are you gonna poke the bear? Don't poke the bear.
That's what creative told him to do, man.
It was very entertaining though.
Oh yeah,
it was very entertaining. I liked it.
Next, we had Mustafa Ali, Drew Gulak video package recapping their feud.
Yeah. Drew Gulak they need to give him an updated, they could do a lot with his Titantron.
I know.
Because it's still the King Arthur thing.
I know.
And they need to make it him and political stuff.
Like change his music too.
Get hold a baby, get like a tree behind him and a blue sky and an American flag.
Yes, all
waving. All that stuff would be great.
And new music.
Gulak is great. Anyways, he comes out and he's on his little bullhorn thing. Let me ask you about this, because I had a problem with this. So it was a fun match.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali ended up turning the tables on Drew Gulak and winning with a roll-up, not a high-flying maneuver.
Yeah.
That was like the story there. That was the deal.
Yeah. And I believe commentary said that Mustafa Ali beat Gulak at his own game.
But
I know your point is that validates everything that Gulak has been saying.
I was totally expecting him at first to be angry that he lost, but then he turns around and gives a big cartoonish laugh and says, "Exactly my point. You just beat me using," what did he say when he was coming down the ramp?
Mat wrestling.
He said, "Who wants to see a 450 splash when you can see a high wrist lock?" The people don't want a 450 splash. They want a high wrist lock.
That's funny.
That was good. But that, you got what you wanted, Drew Gulak.
I know.
That's what you're supposed to have wanted. So yeah. Anyways, you lose the battle so you can win the war. That's what's important. I've been watching, speaking of wars, I've been watching Turn on AMC, the Revolutionary War one.
Yeah. How is that?
There is way too much going on in that show for me to understand what is going on.
Really?
But it's like the they don't have a huge budget. It's not like what was that Tom Hardy show was just on Taboo? Mm-hmm. It's not like Taboo. Taboo's budget has to be insane.
Yeah. Because
the attention to details there is crazy. But this, there's some green screen shots of ye old New York that are kind of obvious. But anyways, I love history stuff, so I decided to check it out. I have no idea what's going on, but I know how it ends.
Well, obviously.
We win.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways.
After that, we had Jack Gallagher and Austin Aries backstage. And
tell us about this segment, Larson.
So they meet in the hallway, and Austin Aries, is seemingly reflecting not only on his losses to Neville, who was helped by TJP, but also Jack Gallagher's loss earlier in the evening, and more or less says, you ever thought about maybe
being a heel?
Cutting some corners,
occasionally,
taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
And Gallagher more or less says no. Mm-hmm. And Austin Aries says, I think we can learn a lot from each other. Mm-hmm. And Jack says, well, are you suggesting an alliance?
Yeah.
And Aries, I can't remember exactly what he said, but something essentially synonymous with that.
Yeah.
But so they shook hands. But essentially, it's Austin Aries telegraphing a heel turn about as close as you can without saying, "Hey, Jack, I'm going to turn heel on you."
Felt like he was proposing a friends with benefits type scenario.
Kind of.
A little bit. But no, I know. But I feel like, number one, and I actually kind of like it, 205 Live is rife with internal conflict.
It is.
You have TJP and then Rich Swan trying to... And then this week he was saying, hey, Rich Swan, I don't appreciate you last week telling me that I should stop taking shortcuts or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And then now Austin Aries is saying, I see all these bad guys. It's like there's like this weird meta awakening
I know.
in all the faces, even on Smack. It's like filtering into SmackDown Live because all the good guys are like, man, it kind of pays to be a bad guy. Maybe I should be a bad guy. There's like this weird awakening. I feel like it's when like the robots are going to take us over.
That's why pretty much all the champions are heels now.
I know, exactly. And so
The problem, though, is Austin Aries turns heel. There's too many heels on 205 Live. Neville, Perkins still kind of.
Yeah.
Aries, Nese, Gulak, Davari.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's
Noam Dar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see them turning Noam Dar face, though.
Yeah.
I could see that. He's good.
That seems like a pretty easy pivot.
So on the other side of the spectrum, we have Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, Jack Gallagher.
Tozawa.
Oh, yeah. Tozawa, big-time face. Who are we leaving?
Oh, Kendrick's a heel.
Swan.
Swan.
Oh, yeah.
Did you mention Rich Swan?
Rich Swan. So we got 5 against
That's 5
like
to 7.
10. Oh, 7? Okay. All right. Well, yeah, no, that's a good point.
But if Dar turns face, then it's 6 and 6.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm
It's not a huge deal, just something to keep in
No,
mind.
I liked it. I liked. You're right. I mean, it's totally telegraphing. Like he's essentially saying, "Man, Jack, you're kind of pays to be a heel around here."
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, I thought that he was proposing, "Hey, you want to be heels together?" Because Jack Gallagher was saying, "I don't feel comfortable being a heel." Austin Aries says, "Well, let's be friends."
Yeah. Nonetheless, let's be friends.
Let's be buddies.
I'll be heel, you be face. I'm sure it'll work
I'm gonna
fine.
heel the crap out of you, Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, he is.
It should be fun though. This should be okay though.
Yeah, it'll be a good program.
It's a different kind of program. It's a different kind of story.
Yes.
And it could take a long time for them to figure out whatever
Yes.
they're gonna do. I like it.
Next, we had Rich Swan and TJP backstage. You mentioned this briefly.
Yeah.
Perkins is doing a really good job of kind of balancing everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's not because it's not like, hey, I'm doing some cool quips and stuff.
No.
It's like
He's being real.
it's character work, man.
Yeah, he's
This is
being
good
real.
stuff. He's been doing some method acting training.
Yeah.
At who was the big method actor guy?
Well, there's several.
Yeah. Who's the guy who was in Godfather 2?
I want to say Strasberg, but
Strasberg.
That's
Strasberg.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Strasberg.
We went to film school.
That's been a long
I know.
time.
I know. Meisner.
Meisner. Yeah, there you go.
Anyways.
Anyways, yeah, TJP doing some real good method work.
Yeah,
here.
because he started out and he had a problem with Swan talking to him last week, but by the end of the segment,
Yeah.
he was telling Swan to go out there and take care of business.
Yeah.
Go win.
Yeah, it's good.
I was almost expecting Perkins to come out and interfere, but I'm happy he didn't.
No, I know. Me too. I like it, man. There's all these little character moments and stuff. It's good. Anyways, that did lead to Rich Swan versus Neville. I want to say, what was his first name?
Adrian.
Adrian. Oh, yeah, I want to say Adrian. Anyways, Rich Swan versus the Neville level. And this was a fantastic match. I thought they
Yes.
told like a really good, like Rich Swan, the level of frustration, his level of frustration was at the Neville level.
Yeah.
It was a lot of frustration. That bit where towards the finish when Neville grabs him by his hair.
Yeah.
And that was kind of telegraphed because in the opening segment, Titus kind of clowns Rich Swan, I believe, for his haircut. And so that was like a little bit of foreshadowing there, I felt, because you see the look on Swan's face when Neville grabs his head like out of total disregard and disrespect. And he gets pissed and delivers like a super kick out of nowhere. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Rich Swan's great.
Yeah.
Akira Tozawa comes out and sits ringside in like a VIP area.
Yeah.
So they cut to him every now and again during the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of great sequences in this match.
Yeah, I just thought that Rich Swan's character work during the match.
Fantastic.
I had not seen that from him before, and I think if anything's going to get him back into the sort of the main event picture, because he mentioned like I think with Tozawa when he was talking to Tozawa, he was like, man, I'm going to win this match and get back into the title picture. That should be everybody's goal.
Absolutely.
But with that kind of like character work, I thought that was really, really strong. Neville tends to bring out the best in everybody.
Yes.
He's such a good champion, dude. God, he's so good. All right, let me ask you this. Now, after the fact, smart move to keep that title on Neville?
I can't really argue against.
I say
Against
yes,
it.
man. I say yes. I think that he can. God, could you imagine if he had that title for like a year? but every program they did was like quality.
Mm-hmm.
They just nobody can get over the Neville hump. Then they bring in I don't know who, Roderick Strong or something.
Or just develop someone who's already on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to start bringing. We need some new faces though. We need something.
Well, I don't know if we necessarily need new faces. We just need
expand NXT or 205 Live to 3 hours. Bring in like 4 new guys.
There's already about 5 guys that aren't used.
Like who?
Grand Metalik,
Wednesday
Dorado.
Grand Metalik.
They're rarely on.
I want guys with I can see their faces. I'm joking. Anyways, Swan ended up missing a Phoenix Splash. Neville put the Rings of Saturn on him. You mentioned earlier that you really liked what Swan did.
Yeah,
in the Rings of Saturn.
even before, while Neville was trying to get Swan in the rings,
yeah,
you could tell or seemed like that Rich Swan was struggling to kind of keep his arms out of Neville's grasp. And when he was finally in it, he did this great job of selling not only the pain and discomfort of the move, but his efforts to fight to keep the match going. Yeah, it wasn't a simple head nod and then tap like it seemed like Austin Aries did.
Well, it's funny that we've really paid attention to the Rings of Saturn now since that.
Yeah.
Because we noticed that everybody since then has done it way better.
I know.
So
but I thought Swan last night was even better than Perkins.
TJP last week, yeah.
It was fantastic.
Tops. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about NXT.
Yes.
Packed episode with a hell of a main event.
Yeah.
I just saw the Ealy brothers on here. I love the Ealy brothers. Anyways, Peyton Royce versus Ember Moon kicked things off. Of course, they replayed some of that segment. No, did they?
No, they didn't.
That? No, they didn't.
From the Performance Center?
Yeah, they didn't replay that.
They didn't replay it. But Peyton Royce did work Ember Moon's injured shoulder during this match.
I love Peyton Royce, man.
Yeah, she's great.
I love everything about her. She's great.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ember Moon picked up the win with the
Ember
Eclipse.
Moon back with the red contacts, by the way. I like that. That's good.
She changed up her entrance a little bit, too, I thought.
Yeah, I think they did, yeah. Yeah, she looked great. Yeah, she went with the Eclipse, one of the best-looking finishers.
Oh, it's fantastic.
In the business today.
This is a really good, crisp match, fast pace.
Yeah, it was good. And a little bit of interference from Billie Kay. She ate like a top rope move from
Ember Moon,
yeah, and got laid out. It was great. I love those guys. They're all great. Those gals. Then we had Cassius Ohno backstage. Hideo Itami shows up.
I had the volume really low on my TV and I was watching it. By the time I got up so I could hear what they were talking about, I had no idea. So you'll have to fill me in.
Hideo Itami basically just said, "Look, I was really frustrated that I lost. I'm bummed out." And then Cassius Ohno said, "Look, man, you've lost. I've lost. We just got to get back up on the horse." It was all just very cordial, motivational speaking.
That's what I gathered.
I honestly figured that the finish to the main event would be Hideo coming out and throwing down with Cassius as sort of like a, "Hey, we're cool," and then, "No, we're not cool."
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
They're taking a slow burn approach with Hitami's heel turn, if that's the plan.
I guess so.
What do you think of Ohno's Bulls-inspired ring gear?
It was good. Yeah, look good. You were a big Bulls fan back in the day because of Jordan.
Absolutely.
Everybody was a Bulls fan, except for like people in New York or Indiana. Let's see here. Then we had the Ealy brothers. I love the Ealy brothers. I love them so much. They are frighteningly identical. It really does look like in this day and age. Remember the Winklevoss twins?
Yeah.
The Social Network. It's like that. It's like two. What's that kid's name? Army Hammer.
Yeah.
2 Army Hammers.
Well, it's not that they look alike.
Yeah.
It's like in terms of their musculature.
Yes.
It's the exact same.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And their movements are the same, but they don't do it in step. So it literally just looks like the same person just twice, and they like green screen the second guy in. The thing that kind of cracked me up, because they look like they're good-natured guys. There's nothing really threatening about their faces. They have like perma-smile on their faces. I think even when they try to be menacing, they just end up in sort of a smile position. Oh, man. And so, like, did you notice this? You said you had the volume down low. Was the volume down low even when they came out? This is a small thing.
Well, tell me what it is. I'll tell you if I noticed.
They're in the ring while their music is still playing.
Yeah.
One of the Ealy brothers, to the beat of their theme music, starts saying, "Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And it was like, dude, don't do that. That's the least menacing thing you can do. It sounds like I just walked in on Alabama's daycare and they're singing a song and they're like, "Yeah, Yeah. Yeah. With a big smile on his face. Man, you're a huge human being. You're supposed to be threatening, and you're not threatening. Anyways, and Sanity. Talk about threatening. They're terrifying.
Yeah.
They come out to, what's that, the Primus song? My Name is Mud. They came out to that. And
Alexander Wolf starts moshing.
It's fantastic. It was amazing. No, he wanted to start moshing. He started to run over to where they were and was going to mosh at them, and the ref held him back.
But later on, before he did a move, he did a little bit of moshing.
Oh, did he? Okay, crap. I must have blinked. But anyways, Ealy brothers took on Eric Young and Alexander Wolf. Of course, Sanity went over because they're huge.
It was like a combo. Alexander Wolf had one of the Ealy brothers up, kind of I think in a belly to back position or something. And
Eric Young went up
jumped
top.
off the second or top rope with the neck breaker.
It was kind of it was like a little bit of it was like a lazier version of the Doomsday Device.
Kind of.
It was a less complicated. You don't have to get a guy up on your shoulder. You sort of hold him there.
Yeah. Instead of a clothesline as a neck breaker.
Yeah. Let's see here. Then we had Rachel Evers, who is Rachel Ellering, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So her dad has the algorithm.
Yes.
For tag team wrestling.
He
needs to tune that algorithm so that we can get some more money. I don't know. Anyways, I love Sonya Deville, man. I think she's fantastic. This was a clunky ass match, but I kind of like Sonya Deville. I think she's got the look.
She's very intense.
Yeah, incorporating the MMA stuff. I feel like in order to make sure that her matches sort of aren't clunky, they need to dial that back a little bit and incorporate more actual pro wrestling, because right now it's strike heavy. And it's not like she's a Shinsuke Nakamura who knows how to do all that stuff seamlessly because she hasn't been in the business for 20 years.
Her kicks look great, though.
No, her strikes look great. They look great. It's just, what, you got a half smile on your face. What?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you had something on your mind.
No, I'm just listening to you.
Okay. But yeah, I thought that her character work was really good. I just felt like the match was a bit on the clunky side.
No, I agree.
That's going to come with time.
Her previous match was the same, though, too.
Yeah. I just feel like, you feel me, though.
Definitely.
I think she needs to fuse a bit more.
There's some polish that needs to be.
Yeah, I think so. But otherwise, I love her. I love the little video vignette thing or the promo package they do with her. She comes off as legit. That's what I like about her.
And then she used the Kimura lock.
Yeah, it's good. And I like at one point she threw her gloves off and she told
did
Rachel
that last
Evers,
time too.
She said, "You messed up."
Yeah, that was good.
Whoa, that was good. I like that. Very intense. She's very scary. I like her.
Yes, the intensity is great.
Yeah, this was my favorite segment of the night. Bobby Roode
doing a
photo shoot where he starts laying into the camera guy saying, "You shouldn't be barking orders. Don't tell me when I'm supposed to smile. In fact, let me see the role of," and then he sees the Strong family.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Roderick Strong. I'm sorry. I'm all in Bobby Roode on this one. I want Bobby Roode. Number one, he said, so he sees this Roderick Strong and his child and his wife. His fiance. They had a kid out of wedlock. Ooh. Got you on that one. Anyways, I'm sure Bobby Roode doesn't like that either. Why hasn't she married him yet? What's the problem with Roderick Strong? Anyways, maybe he's not a real man like Bobby Roode is. Because Bobby Roode, Roderick Strong, Bobby Roode starts talking crap. Strong, and he tells him back, he wants to be the bigger man. He tells his fiance, "Okay, let's get out of here."
Yeah.
Camera zips back over to Roode. Oh, he was so serious, man. I swear this was a shoot. Because that look on his face, he looked so serious when he said, "Hey, I tell you what, if you want to know what it's like to be with a real man, just come over to..." He was so intense. He was because it wasn't like Scott Steiner, cartoonish.
Yeah, so over the top.
He looked like he was horny in the moment. Oh, it was great. Roderick Strong he looks like he's always on the verge of cry face, man. Especially when he's around Bobby Roode, who's a real man. Anyways, Roderick Strong attacked him, empties out the milling about locker room, apparently, because Oni Lorcan comes out. A couple of prospects come out.
Yeah.
Developmental people come out. Break him up. And Bobby Roode's still talking crap to Roderick Strong. I loved it. It was great. Bobby Roode's the man.
He really is.
He is a real man.
2 weeks title match between the two of them on NXT.
Yeah. They're celebrating their 400th episode of NXT. So it'll be. I don't think this is going to happen because I know they do title changes on Takeover. What are the odds that they might do a title change here?
Very low.
Very low.
5%.
But there's 5% there. That could be a stunner.
Yes.
I mean, what a great way to hype up your TV product.
Oh, exactly.
To do something like that.
I know.
Don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't either.
Chances
right
are
now,
it's
I don't
not
think it's going to
happen.
happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But, man, I love that. That was so good. Oh, my God.
Oh, that was
Bobby
great.
Roode's
I
the
know.
best.
He
Like,
is fantastic.
honestly, Roderick Strong and his they're not married yet, so she does have time to consider whether or not she wants to be with a real man like Bobby Roode or with Cryface. Oh, man.
Goodness.
Should be a hell of a match, though.
Oh, it will be
hell of a
fantastic.
match.
Next, we had the main event, Cassius Ohno taking on Aleister Black.
Mm-hmm.
Good match, really good story, especially in the beginning where neither of them really wanted to let the other start using their strikes against them. So
Yeah.
It wasn't the most fast-paced match, but once you consider the story involved, it made perfect sense where they just wanted to concentrate on the ground game, so no one had to eat a kick or a forearm.
Right, yeah.
No,
this
eventually,
was
by
fun.
the end, they were just like beating the heck out of each other.
So, and we also got Aleister Black's first real match.
Yes.
We got his first real match. I mean, obviously, dude, he's been around for a while in the indie scene. He's polished as can be. He knows Cassius Ohno better than anybody. And I really enjoyed seeing the range of emotion that we got from Aleister Black. That was fascinating. I loved when Cassius Ohno mocked him, got in the sit-down position, and they got a close-up.
Yeah, that was really well
That
done.
was really well done on Aleister Black, and he's like, he looked him up and down, and like, how dare you? So we haven't got any promos from him beyond the pre-film stuff. But I do like that we're able to get a little bit more of his character because he could have played this any number of ways. He could have played it completely cold.
Yeah.
He could have played it super hot. I thought there was a good range there.
Yeah, but at no point was it over the top.
Right,
it was
exactly.
all very subtle.
Exactly. So we're getting we don't get it a lot. Usually they get people on the microphone to let us know who they are. I like that we're getting to know him through his in-ring product.
Yeah.
I like that. And then we can go to the microphone afterwards if they're going to do that. I don't know. I kind of feel like they really need to think about how they're going to showcase his promo skills. Really need to think about that because you don't want to kill his mystique, man. It's so strong right now.
Yep.
But then you also don't want to, like you said before, you don't want to
give
leave
people,
us not knowing who he is.
You want to give people a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, exactly. So, another couple strong episodes
absolutely.
of product this week. Let's go to the questions. I don't know.
I am there. Connor Dunmore. Hey, friendos. We all know WWE brings in celebrities sometimes, and it's cringe.
Can be.
But
more often than not
Connor's
it is.
question is name 3 celebrities that WWE could bring in for an appearance or even an angle to benefit them. I guess them being WWE. The Lunatic Cringe mentions Ronda Rousey. Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's name a couple that have gone over well. I thought her WrestleMania appearance was good.
Yes.
John Stewart.
Yes. Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that was good. There's been all sorts of cringe ones. My favorite was WrestleMania.
Remember when Hugh Jackman knocked out Dolph?
Maybe it was. Oh, that was great. But you can't have celebrities. I mean, it's Wolverine, so maybe I don't know. What do you think about it? It's Wolverine. So, but
he's not. He's on WWE TV every week.
Yeah, but he's Wolverine, man.
He's not really Wolverine.
You see Logan?
Not yet. No.
I want to. I need
Not
to.
seen
I haven't
yet.
seen it yet. I think it was Warrior Hogan, that WrestleMania, and Mary Tyler Moore was in the crowd.
Oh yeah.
And they were interviewing her, and she didn't know a lick of what was going on. But they were like, I think they were talking about the honky tonk. I don't know. They were talking about something, but she had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
But she was trying her best to like it. But it was obvious, like, dude, she doesn't know. And like, just ask her, hey, what do you love about this stuff?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
open-ended questions that you can BS your way
Vague,
through. Not
general.
Yeah, what kind of strategy do you think Warrior's going to implement on Hogan tonight? You know what I mean? It's like Mary Tyler Moore, dude.
And she just says leg drop.
Oh, that'd be great.
Ideally, you'd bring in celebrities who are fans of the product.
Yeah, right.
As opposed to people who are just showing up strictly for promotional purposes.
Yeah, that's when it's like when they had Ashton Kutcher on there. Like he might have been a fan of the product.
Oh,
but,
that whole segment was not
it
good.
was so bad.
Not
it was
good.
so bad.
And they were on commentary.
Didn't they have like what was it? Like the Miz was dealing with some kid who was going to be on some show.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, it was horrible. God, that stuff makes me want to throw up. Let's name a couple more celebs. We got
the
Rousey.
guys from the Sonic commercials.
Who would want to see them? That'd be fantastic. I hope they're big wrestling marks. Love those guys. They need their own show. Like Sonic needs to produce a pilot.
Yes.
Let's see here. Custer. One more celeb.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's people who are real wrestling fans. I know like Bill Simmons is a wrestling fan, but I don't know if you.
I don't want him on there.
No.
His little whiny voice. Yeah, you know, it'd be fun. I want to see Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah,
because he looks exactly like Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I want to see Jason Momoa. Get some more Game of Thrones dudes on there. That's what I want to see. Get Peter Dinklage in there. That'd be rad.
that would be cool.
Although knowing Vince, probably make it cringeworthy. Let's see here. Tommy T. Wait, is the right one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, good. Tommy T. The fact that the biggest draws in WrestleMania history are by far Donald Trump and Vince McMahon's Battle of the Billionaires match, and Rock Cena won. My question is, could WWE replicate the drawing power of those two matches today? And if so, how do you realistically see them doing so? Yeah, I mean, you got to find somebody who's it's surprising to me that the Donald Trump apparently was a big draw. Donald Trump versus
that really surprised me too.
That really does kind of boggle my mind.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was well before, his big political stuff, all the political stuff, which, granted, he's got a lot of people who like him. But back then it was like, okay, so the rich guy from The Apprentice, I mean, I know he had been around a while, but it's
The Apprentice was a pretty popular show when it first came on.
But that's still weird. I mean,
I know that's weird too.
It was a good gimmick, the Battle of the Billionaires,
Yeah.
and somebody has to shave their head. That was a good gimmick. But it's just weird that's like, oh, Donald Trump's going to be on there? Oh, let's watch WrestleMania. This is weird.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't really get that one.
What if they can somehow bring CM Punk back for a Punk Cena match? I don't even think that'd be enough to...
I don't think that would... I'm not sure if that would attract that many more people who are still watching the product.
No, I know. It wouldn't. It wouldn't appeal to casual fans.
Right. I mean, if he had somehow broken through the mainstream in a big way, like
or if he actually had a successful UFC career.
Yeah, but if he had landed a role like Batista did,
yeah,
but even Batista's not a huge draw. I don't think anymore for the WWE.
What if they did Rock Austin one more time?
Maybe I could see, because it was so big back then. Maybe some casuals who were hot for the Attitude Era might tune in to see that.
Yeah,
Rock Austin. That's
but I think these days there's just so many more choices for people to watch. So many more entertainment options. What's
like the biggest actual legitimately popular thing person right now? Like what's a Donald Trump for today? I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's such a random weird thing. I don't know. Had Bill O'Reilly on there? Get what's that idiot? Hannity.
Oh gosh.
Get that garbage on there. Anyways, let's see here.
Evil Steve there. Hey friendos, it seems to me that Cassius Ohno is really setting into the player coach type of role.
Yeah.
Do you see NXT being the ceiling for him in this role, or could he transition to the main shows? Well, if he's a coach, that means he's going to be in NXT.
Yeah. And you're right, it does feel like that's where he's at.
Yeah.
So I would say yes, that probably is. I would say that's his ceiling if that's by design.
Yeah.
But if they really want him, I mean, there is that luxury of, hey, we're bringing you in to be a good, solid presence in the locker room, which is what we need.
An instructor at the Performance Center, and then you could still, wrestle on television.
Yeah. I mean,
and put on great matches.
If that's what everybody's happy with. But if he went there thinking, hey, I'm going to make my way back up to the, I never knew what Samoa Joe's role was in terms of, and even I think Meltzer on Twitter said the other day that Asuka was brought in for NXT.
And I think I read something a while back that, when they signed Joe, they told him that you probably will never get to the main roster.
Really? Okay. So yeah, maybe I do kind of remember that then. So yeah, I mean, anything can change in the WWE. We know that. So,
yes.
But I think that that's a good ceiling to have if that's where everybody kind of understands that's where they want him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think he's great.
Yes, CM Punk finds it insulting, with everyone assuming Kenny Omega will come to the WWE when his contract is up with New Japan. Would you rather he debut in the Rumble and win, or debut alongside the Young Bucks to feud with the New Day?
That's too small for him. As much as that would be great, that's like 2 years down the line. That's like when he's got his awesome, great, huge matches out of the way. No, I wouldn't even want him to debut the Rumble and win.
Because you need a good 4 months to build up to his match with AJ.
Yeah. What's a good way for him to debut?
The Raw after Mania.
The Raw after Mania.
So then you have a year to build up Kenny Omega and AJ for WrestleMania 30.
Here's the thing, though, man. I want his debut match to be in the main event of WrestleMania.
Okay.
So have him debut maybe the Raw after the Rumble.
Okay.
And then do the same thing they did with Shinsuke. Just have him wrestle a bunch of dark matches, and then debut match WrestleMania.
Well, then have him debut the Royal Rumble and win it, and then he's guaranteed a main event shot at WrestleMania.
It's a great idea. Surprised I didn't think about that first. JT has a good question. Which is more disrespectful to do to a wrestler? Have an opponent who comically oversells their moves, or an opponent who no-sells? I would think the no-sell. Well, but they're both fairly disrespectful.
The no-sell aspect would depend whether it would be, I guess, if they're willfully no-selling, then that.
Mm-hmm. Who was okay?
Maybe like if someone's just not experienced or a good seller and does it, I don't think that's necessarily disrespectful purposely.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone, it depends on intent.
Just listen. I got you two scenarios.
Okay.
Which was more disrespectful? Bruiser Brody, Lex Luger, or HBK, Hulk Hogan? Because we know that HBK was comically overselling Hulk Hogan out of frustration for the situation.
Well, we also know that Brody was no-selling Luger for similar reasons.
Yes. So which is worse? I would think the worst thing would be no-selling, because it's like, dude, I can't do anything in this situation. At least if somebody's comically no-selling me, maybe I can switch it up to a mat-based wrestling.
I think of those
where it's more difficult.
I think of those two scenarios. I think the Hogan one might be worse.
Really? Why is that?
Because, I mean, part of it is the opponent. Part of it is the platform, the venue.
Yeah.
I mean, for HBK, granted, a huge star, showing up Hogan on that huge of a stage in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
That's pretty major.
That's pretty huge. And especially the Hogan size ego comes into play. You know that he was probably like humbled.
Well,
or at least pissed off.
Yeah, he's probably upset about it.
Yeah.
Whereas like Brody and Luger, like the people there probably but they might not even known that was the case. They might just thought that was part of the match, that up until the point where Luger was trying to, with obvious fear in his face, trying to get out of that cage.
Yeah. Yeah. Did Michaels ever go on record saying that that's what he did?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'd like to look into that, and just because I'm curious as to what the backstage, like after the match finished, if they said anything about it, or if everybody was just like, oh, that was awkward.
Yeah.
And HBK was like, hey, good match, Hulk. Yeah, brother. They just, I can see that.
Yeah.
Like them, like completely no-selling what just happened in the ring. Let's see here.
Double T. Hey, friendos, my question is, why does everyone blame Vince for not using certain NXT call-ups properly, like Ty being the most obvious case? Everyone says he's out of touch because of this, but it happens everywhere. Even New Japan fumbles their new guys from time to time. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, so we've heard that Triple H would prefer people being called up from NXT to have a 6-month plan in place.
Yes.
I don't know how true that is. It's a great idea, but given how much things change always, I would wonder if that's something that's even realistic.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because like Triple H knows, like he knows how often Vince changes his mind.
Yeah, I know, but still, that's still going back to Vince.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the end
I know, and I agree. Yeah, it's totally realistic to blame Vince for that one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you execute your plan and it fails, that's fine. But I don't think we've seen somebody come up from NXT. They've had a solid plan in place, and then it failed.
Mm-hmm.
Finn Balor failed because he got injured,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kind of obvious they had some plan for him.
Yes.
That plan was Universal Champion.
Yeah.
So yeah, bottom line, it all goes back to Vince.
Oh yeah.
The Nightcrawler. I gotta ask, where would the business be today if Shane took over back when Linda stepped down as CEO? According to many wrestlers, he has an amazing mind for business and is by far the kindest and most down-to-earth of all the McMahons, including Triple H. Also, he had some pretty great ideas that were never greenlit. He wanted the ECW reboot to be its own thing exclusively on the internet and wanted to buy UFC back when it was still starting out. So considering all that, where would the business be? I
don't know. Daniel Bryan was doing the rounds on interviews this past week, and he mentioned how Shane is just a very patient, cool guy.
That's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. We're going to talk more about Daniel Bryan on the
Yes,
dirt
on
sheet
Dirt
too,
Sheet.
because he had some interesting thoughts about the business.
Yes.
The overriding question is we had this asked about Triple H, Shane, probably Stephanie. Where would the business be without Vince?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if it would be a relic of the past or because it's not like, Vince didn't. I still wonder where we would be if, I don't know, the whole idea of what's been the biggest knock on pro wrestling?
You mean historically?
Mainstream American pro wrestling.
That is fake.
That it's fake, exactly. And I have no idea how it was in Japan. If that played into how it's accepted there versus how it's accepted here. But if that wasn't such a stigma, even up through the 80s, would people enjoy it? Would a bigger audience enjoy it for the entertainment value? And not, they're acting like they're fighting.
Yeah.
That's not real. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I know Vince tried to protect the business, but I think any number of people would have tried to protect the business. I think that goes back further than Vince.
Oh, yeah.
So,
there's still, people today that have that attitude.
Yeah.
That kayfabe should be
right.
still a thing.
So, I think the short answer is I have no idea.
There's really no way of telling.
There's
the
no
idea
way of
of having ECW be like an online exclusive is interesting.
Yeah.
That could have been cool. It would have fit with the aesthetic of the original product, but then you run the risk of, how's it going to make money?
Yeah. Totally.
It's incredibly hard to make money doing online content today. I can only imagine what the situation was back in 2005, 2006 when they relaunched ECW.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, you have to, if they're a business, they have to make business decisions.
There were many, many, many reasons why the ECW reboot failed. That was just destined not to work. ECW was an energy and a moment that you can't replicate certain things.
Nope.
You can't replicate them. Let's see here.
Ember Moon's weed dealer.
Nice,
Hey, friendos.
Dude Harper.
Last night, Peyton Royce really impressed me. I'm 100% sold on her.
Oh, I love her.
She's great. What do you guys think is her ceiling on Maine, and do you think she should pull Ciampa and ditch Billy Kay? The question asker wants to see Peyton Royce on SmackDown.
Yeah, I see her on SmackDown too. That's a total fit.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to see her ditch. I love the iconic thing. I'm sorry, I just touched your foot.
No, you didn't.
Really?
Nope.
What the hell is this?
That's my foot, but I didn't feel you touch it.
Oh, because I'm barefoot and you have shoes on. No, I don't want to see them get split up. I don't want one to turn heel on the other because they're already heels.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Peyton Royce.
Yeah.
I forget, was there another question there?
No, that's it.
Okay, I love her. Let's see here. There was another question here that I want to answer. That's weird. Where'd it go? Oh, Larson's personal beard trimmer, Joaquin Cardenas. Which WWE wrestler should stay away from New Japan because they just wouldn't be able to fit in? I kind of touched on this yesterday. I feel like guys whose primary strength is their promo abilities, I feel like they should stay away from New Japan. Interpret that how you may. I think Kevin Owens would do gangbusters
Oh,
over
yeah.
there.
Sami Zayn
He would
would.
do killer. He would do, yeah, Sami Zayn would do killer over
I
there.
think Seth Rollins would do well over there.
He would do great over there. Although with Seth, Seth is, he's got mainstream star
Oh, yeah.
written all over him.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like anywhere but the WWE, the biggest stage, in terms of his brand, if you will, would be a step down.
Oh, yeah, but
you
that's
know?
not necessarily the question.
Oh yeah, well he'd do good anywhere, man. Not able to fit in. Who wouldn't fit in there? Who's a crap wrestler?
That's essentially what you're saying.
Yeah. Who wouldn't fit in with New Japan? So much good talent, man. The Bray Wyatt character would be kind of oddball in New Japan. I'm not sure how that would translate.
I'm gonna. Sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I'm gonna give kind of like a qualified answer because we haven't seen potentially the full breadth of what he can do in the ring. But someone like Cass, we've only seen limited amount
that's
of
a good
what he
point.
can do in the
Yeah,
ring.
that's a good
Maybe
point.
there's more to his in-ring ability, but right now we've seen so little that it's hard to tell. But based on what we've seen, I don't know if he'd be able to handle the demands of those type of matches they have in New Japan.
Well, no, that's a good point because what's the selling? Up until they broke up, what was the selling point of Enzo and Cass? It was Enzo's promos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure how those would fly in Japan. That crowd would be confused as hell, even if they do know English. They'd be like, "What is he talking about?" Hell, I'm like that.
Yeah, half the time I'm confused by what he says too.
Anyways, that's it for the NXT 205 Live recap. We're going to play some video game. We're going to shoot dirt sheet, and then we're going to play some video games
Yep.
later on. So that live stream, this is going to go up. Oh, this is going up now. This will be going up probably around the time we're playing video games.
Yeah, so you have to make a very difficult decision. What to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Or watch both at the
Watch
same
both
time.
at the same time, exactly. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.